Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well, and I can't wait to get into the messages that are coming through, both the channeled messages, and then I can't wait to see what the cards have to say as well. Just a quick note that this is for the month of November, and as always, I welcome cross-watching on this. You can look at it for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. You can also watch on behalf of someone else in your life. And the way that these readings function, especially at the beginning, if you tune in, they can be relevant right here and right now, even though we're doing it about a month ahead, because the beginning portion is channeled. So whoever shows up that day, I tend to bring messages through for them. Plus, I'm looking at the signs. So let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. That was my little furry friend Apollo there. And what we're going to look at today is for the next month, but really it's about 6 weeks. Looking at November, but this is being broadcast in October. So there'll be a little bit of overlap between the two. And I organize it in 4 major parts. I like to start off with the channeled messages, which I kind of organize before I get started here. And as you can see, a combination of automatic writing, dream interpretation, meditation, and whatever else comes to me as I'm getting ready right beforehand. So that's just my spirit guides plus my own intuitive skills. Then I like to use the Celtic Cross after that to look at some additional information, a little bit more tactical. It'll help sometimes deepen some of these messages and also reveal other things that we might need to focus on collectively. And then I like to allow that to kind of take whatever flavor it will. We go into the expanded forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And a quick review, we'll look at all of that together and then go a little bit deeper in any particular space where it seems like everyone will benefit from learning more. So sometimes it's very focused and we just look at past, present, and future in that one area. Sometimes I'll look at different cards throughout the spread and it's a chance to go deeper because you can only see so much with 10 to 15 cards. So that's the main organization. And then at the very end, we do something special where we integrate everything in a meditation, and then I'll play a singing bowl and you get a sound bath at the end, okay? So I can't wait to get started. Before I do, just a couple of quick notes. First of all, welcome to Ryan and Maria. They help keep this a nice, safe space, and everybody's welcome to join in. I just ask that you keep it on topic, that it's polite and that it's safe. Those two are going to help make sure that that happens. And I'm going to really just try to stay out of chat because I've got a lot coming through and I need to stay focused. So I'm going to do that and they'll alert me if there's anything that I need to pay attention to. To that end, because I need to stay focused, I don't take questions. And I'm going to do my best to not really even, like I said, tune into the chat too much because it can take me out of the channel and I don't want that to happen. If you want to show support, you can still use Super Chat. Super Chat is this little icon next to the smiley emoji. And I'm using one of the newer decks here. I've been using this a lot the past few months. It's called Tarot the Divine. And anyway, my moderators have a link to my website. And this is purchased through your contributions. So if you want to continue to help me buy new supplies, you can do that by clicking this button. That's what I use it for. And it's also for all these note cards. I go through a lot per month, so you guys help me buy the new note cards. If you're on replay and you're looking at this on your computer or an Android device, iOS is coming later, you can use the applaud button and it's right by thumb up, thumb down. It's this little heart and they all function the same way. All right, let's get into the messages because there are a lot of them this morning, and I want to make sure we have time for all the different things that are part of this reading. The first thing that I saw was this. It was almost like I was going back to high school, but as I was looking at the schedule, it just felt like I'd done everything before because I had, and my guides were reminding me as I was seeing this flashback that in this particular lifetime, we are kind of in a déjà vu. We've taken certain classes, if you want to call it that, before, experiences with friends, with family, certain life experiences as well, deciding to live in a certain place or deal with a certain type of person. And imagine, if you will, that you're kind of like a time traveler from the future that is trying to impart knowledge on how to do this better. The truth of the matter is it's kind of like the Back to the Future movie. We're somewhere between the future and the past. Time doesn't really matter. We're constantly doing the same thing. So you already have the knowledge. So this déjà vu that you feel sometimes is real because you already know what's going on. So lean into your soul. You are a time traveler. We're time traveling. We've done this before. We're coming back. We're going to do it again. And I want you now to think about it. If I were to live this life knowing everything, what would I change? You can go into the store of knowledge and realize, okay, I did it before and it didn't work that way. What can I do this time? Or if there's a part in your life where you're just feeling like you're stuck, how would you change it? Imagine now that you could write a note to even a future self or a younger version of yourself and say, hey, this didn't work out. What if we did this? So I just want you to realize you can already do that, and that's already happening. So for the collective, my guides have a few notes. This reminds me of a line from Battlestar Galactica, and I think it was something like this. You guys can fix it in the comments, but it was something like, this has all happened before and it will all happen again, something like that. And yes, but ... I believe that the future is malleable. I believe that we are not destined to repeat forever. So yes, you have done something like this before. You signed up for this class again. You will keep doing it until you integrate all of the lessons and break the patterns and say, you know what, I'm finished with this. I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to graduate. So this should make it more fun, more exhilarating. Risks should be less risky, because what have you got to lose? You've actually got a lot to gain to break the cycle. Only those who are asleep and afraid are going to continue to, only those who are asleep will be afraid. Once you awaken, you realize I have more power than I think I do. And instead of having to graduate, you experience something new. So I think what I'm trying to kind of impart from my guides is this is a wake-up call. Look in your life and see where are the areas where I feel like I can do something new, something different, and wake up. I'm going to try it. I'm going to just go for it, because the worst that will happen is I try and it doesn't work. The best that could happen is I try, it works, and I completely break this cycle. And then instead of feeling like I'm in this foggy sense of I've done this before or this is predictable, it's exciting, it's new, it's something different. So 2020 has been a wake-up call for all of us. It's been forcing us to get out of the mental fog. It hasn't been something that we've completely done on this level before, collectively, all at the same time. So our guides across the planet are all working to move us forward. And it's kind of like a tectonic shift that's happening fast, and we're all trying to kind of like get our bearings after it's happened. So knowing this, another message that came through is that you are more than enough. Sometimes we feel like, I wish I could be more like this person. If I only had this, then this would happen. If I just can elaborate or exaggerate on this, then people will love me more. No, in fact, that was one of the things that was coming through as a warning. Particularly if you're applying for a job or dating someone, trying to create this sort of, what's the best word that I can use? It's basically like a projection of, because in what we're doing right now with social media is creating this sort of cultivated version of ourselves that doesn't exist. And it's so hard to live up to that. It's better to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to basically work through all of that without all of the filters, like the filters on your face and all of that other stuff. You look a certain way, you feel a certain way. I think you should put your best foot forward. But if you're trying to exaggerate or be something that you're not, then you're actually not living in this experience and maximizing it. So the guides were saying, you're more than enough, exactly as you are. And if you try to become something that you're not, it's a house of cards, and that illusion usually will come through. It'll show through. It's your singular energy that's actually what's going to attract abundance in this particular lifetime. So when we think of painters, artists, politicians, actors, it's the people that kind of stick out like a sore thumb, that are the ones that you remember. It's the unusual ones, not the people that kind of blend in. I've said this before, normal doesn't really make someone memorable or spectacular. So it's the rebels, it's the misfits, it's the geeks, it's the ones that are misunderstood that make the biggest impact on this planet. So ironically, what's going on in like the high school cafeteria, at least how it works here in the United States, is you make fun of those kids that are smart, that are intuitive, that are sensitive, that are trying to find their way in the world, and they don't fit into all of the traditional expectations. So if you were part of that, or if you are as an adult more feeling like a little bit out of sorts, a geek, whatever, good. That's what it's about. We're supposed to be that. We should be encouraging the unusual kids, the ones that are blending in, or the boring ones. So be spectacular, be singular, be geeky, whatever, own it, because this is what's going to help you get through this period in time. You'll stand out when there's a whole stack of resumes. You'll stand out when someone shakes your hand and they, well, can't do it anymore, right? When someone meets you on Zoom, you're going to be someone that is memorable, and we need to have that now. So this is your time to really get into that energy. One of the areas that I was feeling in the meditation was the throat chakra. So focus on opening up that part of your body. This is all about communication and voice. You don't have to be a singer or a writer. You could just be anybody who's trying to kind of get their thoughts out there. Focus on reclaiming your voice this month. Be heard. It's not accidental that we're also kind of going to the ear chakra. Like, there's more than just the 7. There's also individual openings here that would happen, like energetic openings in your ear as well. So I want you to listen to your intuition and open up to what you're thinking in your head. That voice in your head is part of that too. Take the necessary steps or action this month when you get an intuitive download. The intuitive downloads, it's not always like what you would see on the TV show Medium, or I'm trying to think of some other examples of how things are shown on television, but they don't really kind of play out that way. So as someone who's intuitive, sometimes I hear things. I will hear like a clairaudient voice. Sometimes I will see a flash of something. Normally, though, it will present itself in my waking hours as a persistent thought, or as a feeling like something I just tune in, and then I'd have to meditate to get a little bit more insight into what it is. But sometimes I just feel like you need to call this person. You need to check on this. Something's up with this. Today's going to be a difficult day. Tomorrow is going to be better. Whatever it is, like I can kind of get that intuitive feeling, and then I combine that with dreams, meditations, divination, and you can get a full sort of. That's why how I read is multi-part. It's not just the cards. I want to use the third eye. I want to use my ears. I want to use my heart. I want to use all the energy around me, as well as the cards. The cards are just one window into intuition. Sometimes when, I'll see a random comment saying that the reading starts when I shuffle the cards. No, the reading's been going on. This is the reading. So that's part of it. And that's one of the misperceptions or misconceptions sometimes, is that it's only through this. It's through this, it's through this, it's through this, it's through your energy field that you're always receiving. So listen to that. And then if you feel that desire, like I need to make the change, it needs to happen now, good. And if you're not doing it now, then when and why? Move the needle forward, which is a weird phrase, but it'll make more sense here in a second, and make something happen. When I wrote down that phrase, I'm like, move the needle forward. It reminded me again of like an old LP, which kind of came back into fashion again. So an album, a vinyl record, basically. For those of you that have owned it, like my parents had it when I was a kid, and I don't own it as an adult because I remember all the scratches and pops. They're kind of cool until like your favorite song is skipping around all over the place. And sometimes if you would play the same thing again and again, it would lose its clarity. It became muddy and poppy and clicky, and then it would get a scratch, and then the record was ruined. What that forced you to do, though, was to kind of move to the next track, or to get something new, or to change. So I feel like 2020 was a scratched record for us. And we are stuck, and now we're getting unstuck. And this is the time to get unstuck and to try something new, because what we were doing prior to this was lacking clarity. So this is a chance to flip the script, or in this case, flip the LP, or the record, or the vinyl, and figure out what's going on in my story. What else can I talk about? What else can I sing about? What's back to your voice here? What's coming through next? Okay. And one thing that I want to remind you with this is, and I've said it almost like a broken record myself, so as the year ends, I'll probably stop saying this and just hope that it was integrated. But there's no going back, everyone. A lot of these things have changed. And so I was listening to public radio the other day, and there was a story about, I think even it was in the UK. They were trying to find new ways to like fund some different things, like not just go back to the same jobs. And I think this is a good way to think about it. Like, we have to start thinking of new forms of employment, new forms of doing business, new ways to innovate. It's not about like going back to the bars and restaurants and theme parks and things like that. we have to reimagine how some of the business and commerce is going to work in this post-pandemic world. It'll go away eventually, but it's not, who knows that there won't be something like that in the future. We want to kind of future-proof it, right? So it's not about going back to the high-risk activities and this sort of openness that we had before. There might be some levels of protection that we need as we move forward. So think of something new. It's supposed to be different. And it's a chance for you to go back to school, change your job, change your life purpose. I forget which sign I was talking about that to. I think it was, let's see, a couple signs ago, it's probably Scorpio. But for some of us, we might even be thinking about like new trajectories overall. And that's fine. In some levels, we're realigning with our soul path, and our soul has grown with this experience. And it's like, all right, let's try something new. What we've decided to do as a kid, what we decided to do when we got out of college, what we even committed to a couple years ago may have radically shifted. We're not supposed to do the same things forever. We are constantly growing, evolving, changing, shifting, and moving. And that's what this is about right now, okay? Metamorphosis, development, growth. That brings me on to the next piece. And this one's super powerful. It's simple, but it's really powerful because I want to hold them up to these two together. All right, so the message is release your dreams and wishes, even your fears, I would say especially your fears, to the divine. There are different ways you can do this. There's this thing where you can have like a prayer box or a God box, or you can also write a letter and burn it. You can just say a prayer and imagine that it's going to fly away. We're going to work on that in the meditation, by the way. The reason you want to release these things is because if you hold them too tightly, you become beholden to them. They are your keepers instead of you being the creator and the initiator of these dreams, of these hopes. Bless it, release it, and see them like form, take flight. Imagine that they're flying from your heart chakra, just like butterflies, or maybe dandelion seeds. That's one of my favorites in meditation. And just because they're like these little propellers, they fly everywhere, and then they'll take seed where they're supposed to, or they'll go where they need to go. It's like, I no longer need this, I'm letting go, and it creates space for you to create something new. Sometimes we're afraid of what's going to be left when we let go of something. So if maybe you're in college, for instance, and or like high school, it's like the last year. Sometimes people cry at graduation because they're afraid, because they're uncertain, because they don't know what's next. I wish I could go back, and I didn't cry, but I would go back and talk to myself and say, this is a good time, enjoy, don't worry, because in the real world, you don't have this sort of camaraderie and support, and you don't have the permission always to just self-indulge and develop and learn. So the flashback to high school was kind of gorgeous because on some levels it's saying, well, actually, at any point in your life, you can decide to do a little bit of enrichment. So I think this month, over November, if there's anything that you could do to allow yourself to learn again, but not repeat, maybe it's about like development, expansion beyond the old stuff. So not just getting certification. I think this is something that your heart wants to do. So it may have nothing to do with your job, which can be hard for Capricorn because there's this feeling of having to practically align it to whatever you're doing. I don't think that matters. It would actually be better if you did something artistic and creative and that couldn't be quantified just by the job, because maybe one day it will become something that you do. But follow your heart, really go into the heart space and explore a little bit so that you can be better at everything else. You need to have some fun and play a little bit in that sandbox. The last two are super important. Each and every day is a chance to do better than the day before. And you're creating tomorrow today, which is why today is the most important day. Yesterday doesn't matter. Tomorrow hasn't happened. Today is when you're creating the energy that will create tomorrow. So this is the most important moment right here, right now. Not a second ago, not a day ago, not whatever. It's all the past. So right here, right now, you are creating, you are deciding, you are reimagining. And until you give up on something, it's a possibility. So keep feeding into the stuff you want, and the fears, the frustration, the doubt, the naysayers, the people that heckle or take you off your path. No, don't even give them a platform. Okay. Let's move on to the Celtic Cross. I'm going to carefully stack all of these. If you missed anything, don't worry. I'm going to pull them up in the center part and we'll talk a little bit more. But I feel like it's an exciting time for your sign this month as I'm looking at everything here, because it's really a chance to break the cycle. You're watching this in retrograde. It's exactly what you should be doing in a retrograde. The beginning of the month, by the 3rd, I believe, is the last day. So by the 4th, you should be out of retrograde. So next month is a chance to do the reset, do the new work, do still probably some of the releasing. We're now at the end of the year. It's hard to believe, right? We're at the last couple months here. So it's really important to end it on a note where there's no sort of things that are anchoring you down. I really want 2021 to be amazing for all of us, because like enough is enough, right? With what we've been doing. All right, at this point, I'm going to remain quiet. I'm not going to look at chat. I just have to focus on the cards. I just ask that everybody is polite and lets me kind of focus on this right now. I'll be back in a couple minutes, so thanks for being patient. All right, everybody, thank you so much for giving me a few moments to get everything organized here. And overall, it looks pretty good. Your catalyst for this month is the seer, which aligns to what we were talking about with all the intuition, right? This is the high priestess. She's also encouraging you to look beyond the present, to look beyond whatever the potential block in your current situation might be. Because if we go to that idea of time traveling or soul traveling, you already have the kind of necessary tools or keys to unlock the solution to this particular problem. And you're already being guided and moved onto that right path. So continue to lean into your intuition. And it's sort of the archetypal seer without any eyes, but you don't, there's something that I like about tuning into your heart instead, or your third eye. And I think that this is saying, look beyond the obvious. So I like that we're kind of going with that very kind of obvious idea of a seer that you can't see their eyes, because it's not about what's right in front of you. It's like what's beyond that, what's behind the curtain. And that's really what she's encouraging you to listen to. Okay, so I like the seer and I like the message there. Whatever's going on right now, that is the result of something that happened before. You can go to the root and figure out why it happened. You can also see what it's triggering. Why is it happening now? And that's really what she's trying to impart upon us. So we have the Hierophant at the center, which is really a great and powerful card for opening up a new cycle in your life, because it shows that you have the ability to organize, to also get people to listen to you. This is a very powerful leader. It's almost someone that has a kind of Messiah type energy. So if you can truly in your heart and soul believe something, you have the capacity this month to kind of command attention. And that's something that's sometimes overlooked with the Hierophant. We can look at it as a stodgy card where, it's like you got to break through. This is old. This is traditional. I like that we have an sort of unusual illustration here where we see like a woman, which I like. I like some of these decks because they break convention. So we're really going into kind of high priestess energy here and pulling people into our heart space and trying to get them excited about what's going on. Great leaders are passionate and can kind of have that controlling or hierarchical energy where you can get everything organized. But there also has to be that connection to the divine and the divine feminine. And that's what this card is bringing forth. So your power this month is in your ability to pull people into this energy, get them excited, get them motivated, and then they're going to work harder. And that's what we see right on top of it is the Five of Wands. And one thing that you want to be mindful of, I always get I'm interested to look and see how they illustrate the Five of Wands, because it can either be a really beautiful card where we see people lifted up, or it can be a card like this, where sometimes you're expelling unnecessary energy. One thing I think you want to try to avoid this month is doing what we see here. See how this one person is kind of getting a lot of abuse or getting pushed out, and then there's some other people here where we see some infighting. If there's anything going on in your life, to quote, what is it, Mary J. Blige, no more drama, right? Like, we don't need this anymore. It's not worth it. So sometimes people just talk and the talk can get in your ear or in your way, or like, I just try not to even look at it. I'm trying to do better as I'm moving on too, just to kind of tune it out, because it takes you out of your zen. I get stressed out just like the rest of us, and that happens. So for you this month, if there's some people around you that are doing that to you, step back and let them, they'll refocus, they'll find another person. So there is a common message this month about not giving in to people that are trying to provoke or initiate a conflict. It's also making sure that if there is someone being bullied and you see it, you're not going to put up with that. You would basically call it out and say, that's not how we're going to act right now. And you would redirect, especially if you're in a position of power. You can't let this kind of stuff go on. So you're going to lead by example, and you're going to stop this in its tracks if it's happening. And the best way to kind of get beyond it, if someone's acting up, you don't give them attention, but you don't let them keep doing it either. So you'll kind of have to walk that fine line of disciplinary sort of action, and then also making sure that you're focusing on and praising positive action in the environment. So it's a hard line to walk sometimes. And sometimes it's better if you're not in a position of power to just get away from that stuff. But I do think it's important to stand up for people if you're seeing someone bullied or seeing someone act in a way they shouldn't towards someone else. But just, you don't have to get into the deep, the depths of all of this. You could go to that person that's going through it and saying, do you need help? How are you feeling? If you don't want to get into the sort of altercation. So there's something going on in the work environment or in the living environment. And your challenge this month is, how can I fix it? How can I neutralize it? How can I rise above it? How can we bring some order to disorder, to chaos? So the other piece of the Five of Wands is simply to keep working hard, to avoid exhaustion, to avoid getting in other people's business. Focus is going to be key, and kind of grounding yourself in why you're doing all of it is also going to be key. Okay. We have the Four of Wands in the deep past, and this is really what we want to focus on. Let's take one of those wands away and let's get back to love. Let's get back to supporting one another. The card is a reverse, but I always see the Four of Wands as beneficial. The reversal of the Four of Wands can just mean a delay in plans. So for some of you, literally, we see this is the card of weddings often. So many of you have had to change your wedding plans. I've had a couple of friends one who canceled the ceremony, and they're just going to do a sort of city hall thing, and another one that's going to do a Zoom ceremony. And a lot of people that had engagements also, it doesn't have to just be like a wedding. It could be a special event or some sort of thing where you've had to virtualize, cancel, or postpone. And the good news though is that people love and support you, and there's still going to be that connection even if it's not face to face. Now, Four of Wands is a very, very foundational energy. When it's reversed, a lot of times it's saying you're doing so much more than you need to in relationships around you. It's positive, but it has sort of like a little bit of a bite to it, which is you could pull back a little bit and make sure that the other people are holding up their part of the bargain, because it's not a sustainable energy to give and give and give. You should also be receiving, and they should also be participating and cooperating, okay? But overall, I love it. And I think that the thing that many of us miss are those connections to friends. This can also just indicate like a best friend or like a brother, sister kind of energy that you have with someone in your life that isn't even family. It can also be, of course, unions. Four of Wands is one of the best cards that can come up when I'm looking at any type of relationship, because that's the kind of person that you can call at 2 a.m. or that's going to be there on your worst day. So whoever in your life falls in that category, love them, support them. But remember that you have something to give too. You're amazing too. And that was a message that I gave to Sagittarius yesterday. You're one of the cool kids at the table. So just make sure that you're getting that support that you deserve. Okay, let me take a quick drink and then we're going to continue. All right, we have the Seven of Pentacles here. What I like about this one is it's really showing the creative energy in the Seven of Pentacles. Sometimes when we see a Seven of Pentacles card, it can be focusing on the hard work, but not really seeing the benefit. Sometimes it's just about recovery. This one, I almost see, it's kind of like you're at the divine altar of creation here, forging new things. Notice how there's a common thread of cooperative energy, because we had it in the Four of Wands. It was kind of out of sync in the Five of Wands. And I would say here, you're better for your collaborations this month than maybe some of the work that you're doing alone. So don't be afraid to bring people into the fold. Much like the Seven of Wands, just because you can do everything on your own doesn't mean that you should. And because Seven of Coins or Seven of Pentacles is about recovery and resource management, it is important to kind of go back to what I was talking about with the Four of Wands and make sure that there's equity in partnerships. This is like a 70-30 sort of mix. And for some of you, that might be okay if you want to be the controlling partner. But if you're not, or if it's supposed to be 50-50 on paper and it's not happening, this is showing that that needs to be fixed. So as long as you are wise about resource management, you'll be okay. Most of the, there are a few cards in Pentacles that carry that message. Two of Pentacles doesn't always mean that you're broke. It can just mean that you need balance. The Six of Pentacles is my base for being okay. So seven shows me that if you're smart, you should also be okay. But it sometimes lacks the sort of discerning energy that you would see in the Six of Pentacles. So say no, don't overdo it, and make sure that if you are doing 70%, that you're getting 70% of the recognition and the profits, okay? So just make sure everything's equal. You should be okay. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. How are you feeling this month? Many of you are probably in a place where the emotions are either heightened, you're feeling a lot, or you might be feeling pushed a little bit. Like I said, we all kind of feel that. Sometimes people push your buttons or the environment. It's kind of hard right now when you look outside and tune into the news and kind of see what's going on. It's difficult to escape the reality of every day. I don't think you can. So that's okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. The question that my guides would kind of step in and say is, well, what are you going to do to constructively manage that? Some days it's easier than others, but this is basically saying find a way to express, to channel, to communicate, to solve for what looks like an emotional trigger. And it's in the crowning position. And for me, I always see that as like top of mind. So you really want to focus on staying in the higher energies this month, looking at the positive side of things. And when you do that, you're going to be fine. When you're triggered, as we all are, sometimes it's hard. I feel like some of you might be dealing with some difficult relationship issues. We've got the Three of Swords reversed. The interesting thing with this one is I actually see Three of Swords reversed as liberation. Liberation from some sort of a situation in your life that just was not pleasing you. And in this particular one, we see the person putting the swords in themselves. So I think that there's a chance for you now to sort of say like, I don't need to do this anymore. Why am I hurting myself? And I can't take your pain on either. We never kind of see that in a typical Three of Swords. Sometimes, especially as a healer, a teacher, even if you're a caretaker, anybody that really kind of empathically tunes into somebody, sometimes we're like, I'll just take that pain. That person can't deal with it. Parents especially. Don't do it too much. Don't do it in general. Help it's far more effective to help that person find the coping mechanism than to take the pain, because what you've created there is a codependency. So I think for some of you, you're going to be walking away from or stopping the enabling of a codependent sort of relationship. Some of you might just have been in a really disappointing partnership of some sort, and this is a chance to reclaim energy and to try to heal yourself, because you're in the near future, not the person. So that's kind of where the energy is with relationships. If you're in a partnership right now, we'll look more at it in a moment when I kind of go to the expanded forecast. But if you're in an existing marriage, long-term relationship where you just started dating someone, it's really important to make sure that, how do they make you feel? That would be my question. Are they, is it lifting you up, or is it antagonizing you? If it's the latter, then no matter how attractive they are, no matter how much time you've invested, it's really time to reevaluate the connection between you and between that person. Could be a water sign, since we have Knight of Cups there, but sometimes I like to just look at the attributes of that person. So I would see this as someone who emotionally takes as much as you're willing to give, or will unload as much as you're willing to take. Really make sure that your boundaries are okay here, and that you say no, and that you're not losing yourself in that person, because with a Knight of Cups in reverse, you can kind of get lost in the emotional sort of fallout, and you don't need to do that anymore. Okay. Why? Because so much productivity is at your hands, and this is you. So you have the Page of Cups, it's in your ego. And this is new love, new opportunities coming through for you. And look at the little bunny rabbit at the bottom, which I always see as a sign of abundance. So even though it's Page of Cups, we have like a little bit of, to me, Page of Pentacles energy that's kind of dancing around this as well. So your passion is it's also where your future is going to be, where you can actually capitalize on things. So I really want you to get in a good heart space and see that abundance will follow through on that as well. If you're looking to start a family, this to me is a big fertility beacon. So it's a good time for that, and you might have some good news around the corner for that as well. But overall, this can be new love, this can be happiness, but it requires a couple of things. It requires you figuring out what makes you happy, you maybe not taking on as much as you used to, and stepping away from that need to sort of sometimes prove through pain or suffering that you're a good person. You don't, I'm trying to do my best to get rid of that 80s idea in fitness, and I would even just say in love that, like no pain, no gain. I say no pain, no pain, because we don't need that. Like just the act of suffering doesn't make you better. Now, if you've been through a painful past, I will say this, it does add character, but we shouldn't openly seek out painful experiences. That's just mean to yourself. So this is really about allowing yourself to feel love. It is your divine right to feel and experience and give and receive love. So that's the currency of the universe. That's part of this experience. So I want you to be happier, okay? But Page of Cups is beneficial in your ego. Express yourself, explore new things. And as I said before, it's kind of like, I like obviously science fiction, but like there's a line in Dune where it's the sleeper has awakened. I believe that's what's happening with your sign this month. You're awakening and seeing your destiny. We see that where the key sort of protagonist embraces his chance to save the world. When we look at like the Matrix, Neo literally wakes up and gets out of the dream state and starts to realize there's a lot of things that are wrong, but what does he do? He starts to work with people to fix it. So being awake was more powerful than going back to sleep, and he had that choice between the two pills. So you have a choice too every single day to take some action or to just wait and see. So take the red pill, I guess. That was the one that woke him up, right? All right, so we have the Queen of Cups here in the environment. She's reversed. And when I look at two of the same suit, it's usually a relationship. It doesn't matter what the suit is. It's telling me about the dynamics of the relationship. So let's pull this up right. So with what we're looking at here, I'm seeing a gap in maturity. And the Queen is in the environment. So I really do feel like this could be the other person. Now, Queen card reversed is very controlling. And a controlling and emotional other person, that can be very difficult to navigate. For some of you, you may feel like I don't have the same power, the same experience, or the same right to kind of like stand up for myself. Could be a mentor, it could be a friend, it could be your mother. Whatever this relationship dynamic is, to me, it feels like it's important for you to stand up for yourself and be happy. And you do have the same, Doesn't matter how many years separate people, because on a soul level, you may be 10 times older than that person that is giving you a hard time. And all you have to do is pull that divinity down, put that crown of experience on your head and think, no, I'm a king too, or I'm a queen too. So I want you to own your divine experience and don't let this person pull you emotionally off track, because it looks like there could be some emotional manipulation or triggering that's happening in the environment this month. You're just as powerful and strong as this person. It's just about finding that strength within, okay? That's probably gonna transpire and go across all relationships, old, present, and future. So focus on keeping your emotional wits about yourself and then not letting someone try to pull rank or experience or age or whatever. You're also an important person that should be listened to, okay? It's all about perspective this month. When we look in the opportunity space, we have the 5 of Cups, and it's been coming up a lot this month. I've seen this card too many times. So it's really about focusing on what is there, what you can embrace. There's a lot to be happy about, and that's where your future is. Remember, every day is a new day. You're creating tomorrow today. So that's yesterday. If you keep focusing on yesterday, it just holds you kind of like a tree. You're putting roots in and you're not moving anymore. So keep moving. And this is the development card that we were talking about earlier. And don't give up. This card always makes me laugh a little bit. It was reversed. I love the 8 of Pentacles. I think it's one of the best cards in any deck because it shows a return on what you're doing. This card, though, look at how let's see if I can get it close enough. I think the pentacles have thorns on them and she's a little bit unhappy. So this does describe, though, what it's like to go through the last semester of school, trying to get something done at work, and it's like 7 o'clock and nobody's there and it's just you trying to do math homework with your kid and it's driving you crazy. Don't give up, because there's so much that you've invested and it's just about to take flight, as we see with all of these, what are they, geese or whatever. So this is saying that sometimes the details are not fun, but it's super important to go through the details. For me as a writer, that reminds me of editing. I have, there's a project that I've been working on where I think I've read it thousands of times. There comes a point where you're like, I cannot look at this anymore. I've seen it. I know every word. I know every semicolon, every comma. So I get it. But wherever you're at on your journey, try not to let the thorns get in the way of the blossoms that are going to come down the road. So we were looking at a rose. We talked about this yesterday. I believe it was in the Catalyst card. And I was looking in the back and we saw, roses have thorns. They require a lot of work. This is another part of it. This is showing you actually doing the work. But she's holding something good for the future. So don't let it go. Okay. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And each of these is multi-part. As we look at health, it's really about looking at the emotional side of things. And that makes a lot of sense. Voyage to the heart, or voyage of the heart. Love flows through you and to you. As I said earlier, it is your divine function, right, and duty even to kind of live in that frequency of love. When you're not happy, a lot of times health problems will center themselves in your heart or your lung area. Cardiopulmonary disorders are often kind of a part of people that have difficulties in their life where they're unhappy. You can get hypertension, you can get a heart attack, you can get a stroke, you can get blood pressure, high blood pressure. All of that stuff is exacerbated by sometimes the emotional state. So the more that you can cool it down a little bit and start to experience joy and love, then this heart space can open up and send healing energy rather than kind of like antagonizing other parts of your body. So on an internal level, I really want you to love yourself and to love what you're doing. These things will attract love in your life, and they're also going to make you happier and healthier. So love yourself, love what you're doing. And if you don't, those are your 2 homework assignments this month, is to just really think, why am I not happy with who I am? And where does that come from? Is it something I can fix? Some of you might want to go back to school. This is a card that is basically apprenticeship leading to mastery. For whatever reason, I'll have to go back and read. It's sort of odd in tarot how 8 and 3 are misplaced a little bit. 3 is the recognition. 3 is the master card. 8 is the apprentice card, or the sort of path to learning all of that and graduating. So you've got some work to do, but what I see is you're a good investment. This is showing that you've got what it takes to get to the next level. So just don't lose sight of that. Looking just at the cards themselves, I'm going to see if there's any other messages with health. The 7 of coins is really just a lot of times about, we talked about recovery. If you're going through anything, don't rush it. The 7 of Pentacles means you might need some physical therapy, you might need some additional time. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself what you need to get 100%. You still have a little bit of work to do. It can also show a need in your diet, as I'm looking at the 7 and 8 of Pentacles, just to really make sure that everything is balanced and that you're putting the right things in your body, especially when it comes to having like enough variety, enough protein, things of that nature. Obviously, you need to work with your doctor before you make any changes. And for those of you that have any history of heart disease, you need to take better care of yourself, and you need to get everything checked out when it comes to that. You want to heal your heart space so that your heart will also be healthy. Okay, let's look at wealth. This is about it's time for something new here. So we have the embrace card, and if you look really close, the little seed is in the shape of a heart, and it even looks like kind of the artery branches that would come out, not just a sort of tree of life, but that's what we see. And everything's going up through, and we see this beautiful nimbus of light above this person. But what's interesting is it's not just the heart. The colors are off a little bit on this. It's it would be the solar plexus that we're seeing, and even a little bit of the root chakra coming through on this. And then the nimbus of light around his head has the communication, the throat chakra. Anyway, obviously this is a time to really focus on those energies, but I'm looking at specifically your solar plexus and your root and your throat. It's hard to see because of, there we go. If I turn it, you can see the blue ray that's also in there. So interesting. But what I'm looking at with you is it's a chance to try something new. This is the world to me, like the world card. This is the sun card. So for some of you, you're starting a year-long cycle to something new. The world is expansion and growth. We've got the heart here. We've been talking about that a lot. So what I'm seeing here is to stand in your power, to start something new. You might be starting your own business. You might be looking for a job where you have more autonomy or more control, and it may not happen overnight. And that's the hard thing for us right now, because we're in a works, I should say, like a financial cycle where everything's a hot mess. So it could take up to a year. And I wish I could tell you it would be faster, but it could be longer. So you want to plan for that. The cool thing with this, though, is your heart is setting the journey and setting the destination. Once you know what you're doing, it's liberating. And even if it takes a couple of months or a year, if it's cool at that point, because you feel like, I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I am that light. I'm not looking for light from someone else. I am the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what your soul would say if you're looking at that. It's just a projection of you, of your future brilliance, of your future light. And that's what we see with this. So I didn't write it, but that's the message that came to me, is that you are the light at the end of the tunnel. Keep holding true to the vision, keep working. The tunnel is variable lengths. It could be faster, it could be slower. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. As we look at other wealth messages, again, good time for investing in yourself, in some sort of a dream or goal. Don't give up. Don't let the little details pull you down. Let's see if there's anything else. Just create better habits in the future. So if you had anything where you were maybe overspending, or you were just feeling like I wasted time or energy in that, that's okay. You're going to learn from that experience and build a stronger foundation for the future. We don't live in the past, we learn from it, okay? Looking at love, divine feminine energy is coming through on this. Let the feminine lead the way. And that doesn't mean that if you're a man that you are not powerful. It means that you need to get in touch with your divine feminine side, being able to nurture, being able to create. As men and women collectively on this planet, there has been a polarization of the divine energies. We both can access that toolkit. That's why yin and yang is a circle, and you see the two in harmony. As a woman, as a man, or as a gender non-binary resplendent being, we can access the whole toolkit, and we can go between the two. That's what's kind of cool about what's happening right now with pronoun usage, with how we can dress. Men can wear makeup. Who cares? Yes. Women can wear suits. Who cares? We can all do any job, and we should all be getting paid equally. This is about breaking down the barriers. As women, you are powerful. You are a creative force. As men, we need to kind of get into that energy too, and to own that divine feminine energy. So this month, allow yourself to take care of yourself. Allow yourself to be taken care of. Allow yourself to create. Allow yourself to elevate others and to nurture. All of these things are part of that energy. It's a really good time, though, to plant a seed and watch it grow in your life. And so if there's something that you do want to create, that's what that's saying. It's Empress energy, basically, expressed in a different way. And she's kind of working with all the energy in the rainbows there as well. Like all the different chakras are kind of illustrated there. A lot around the heart, though, we see more green here in this particular one. And of course, the root. The root came through a lot today in these two cards. So we have root chakra, which is sometimes overlooked. And then again, a little bit of the heart, a little bit of the solar plexus. And as we look at your destiny, a lot of the solar plexus. And it's a recognition card. Some of you are overdue for recognition. Some of you maybe can do a better job of saying thank you to others. It kind of cuts both ways. But by and large, this is the missing Three of Pentacles, because if you ever look at Three of Pentacles, it is someone working hard and people kind of looking at what they're doing and admiring it. It is the recognition. But sometimes we have to also give that to other people so that we're creating that cycle of reciprocity. If you're not receiving what you need where you're at, it might be time to look somewhere else. This is about not just finding your voice, but also finding your power. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a quick review of everything that we talked about. And then let's look a little deeper on the soul path and see what additional messages come through. Okay. So we'll start with a quick review of the channeled messages for anyone that missed it. That feeling of déjà vu, which we even heard in the movie like The Matrix, you would see like a glitch in the system. That's happening to all of us every day because we've lived more than one lifetime. Eventually, we'll all remember that. But we come in with amnesia in this life so that we're not sort of held back by the pain or the frustration before. We get a new chance. Once you realize this is a new chance, it becomes empowering. Imagine that you could, like I said, time travel. Maybe a future version of yourself could come back to today and now. Or imagine now you could go back when you were a kid. What would you say? What would you change in your life, if anything? Maybe you wouldn't because it's brought you on this path. One thing that my guides wanted to remind you is maybe it doesn't matter because the most powerful incarnation is this one. You've done everything before. You'll keep doing it again. So why not have some fun, take some risks, and do what you need to do? Break the cycle. That's going to change everything for you. If you're asleep and you feel like the cycle's controlling you, that's when the fear steps in. But when you're awake and you realize, well, you know what? I'm the one that's moving everything forward, then it becomes exciting and exhilarating. So why not have some fun, graduate, and go to the next step? Take a leap of faith. You're more than enough. This is super important for new relationships that come into your life, because if you feel like an equal partner, this Knight of Cups and Queen of Cups dynamic that we see here is not going to exist. There's no need to try to exaggerate or overcompensate or try to stretch your qualifications. Everything's going to eventually come out anyway. So you don't want that to kind of be part of it. It's your geekiness, your unusual energy, your singular qualities that really define you. And some of those geeky kids became really successful entrepreneurs and very happy and sort of solid adults. So be the not so cool kid and do your own thing right now. As I mentioned, clearing your throat chakra is really important. Communicating is key. Some of you might make a living by teaching, by writing a curriculum, by writing a book or singing. Work on that. For the rest of us, it's really about reclaiming your voice and making sure that nobody's silencing you. Listen to your intuition. And if there's anything that comes through, even subtly, it's your chance to really take an action right now. And if you feel like, oh, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, whatever, like, why are you waiting? The question here is, if not now, then when? And also, why are you waiting? Move that needle forward, because many of you, like an old LP record, are stuck and wearing out that groove. and it's time to like flip it before it gets scratched. And 2020 was all about that. This is a chance for you to sing a new song, for you to move into something new. We don't get these excuses very often, so use it. Release your dreams, especially any of the fears or frustrations. Give it to the divine. There's a lot of ways you can do it through meditation, through writing it down, through, like I said, putting it in a sacred box. There's so many different ways to do that, and blessing it and releasing it. If you hold on too tightly, they become your keeper rather than the other way around. You become beholden to them. So you want to release them so that they can take root, take form. Imagine that they are seeds in the wind or butterflies flying away, and they're going to create and bring in more abundance. And there's kind of like a boomerang type energy to them. And remember, the most important piece here is that every day is a chance to do better. Forget about the blessing. It is a blessing, but it's even more empowering to think like, not just a blessing, but I get a new chance. It's a brand new clean slate. So whatever haunted me yesterday, I'm dismissing that ghost. It's going back to whence it came. And you're creating tomorrow right here, right now. So let's see what we can do on a soul level to make sure that you're in that active role of creation. We're going to look at past, present, and future influences. And I forgot to mention, and it's kind of ironic, you are the seer. This was the catalyst card. See beyond the current situation. So if there's anything going on right now and it feels like that's defining everything, it's not. It's just either a roadblock or it's a sign or a signal for you to pay attention to something else, okay? I want to look at relationship balance because I see Four of Wands, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, Three of Swords, all of that sort of like potential, but something's missing. So what can we look at with your past energy and relationships to help you feel more like an equal partner? Or on the flip side of it, what might you be doing that's calling in people that don't recognize your power? Okay, this is really interesting. So we have the Judgment card, and whenever Judgment's reversed, it holds a very special message. Typically, Judgment upright is the final realization of something. Justice means you're making the decision, but Judgment means it's already kind of been made. The question with Judgment is, are you at peace with it? When it's reversed, there's usually something that you know, but you haven't accepted yet. So have you accepted yourself? Whatever's going on in your life? For some of you, it could be that you were taught that you weren't enough. Maybe your parents didn't support you and they would say things like, you're not as smart as your brother or sister, you can't go to college, or you're not pretty. There's so many things that parents and brothers and sisters and teachers can say, and they don't realize that it sticks with someone forever, or that you know, physically you're not what they expected. Maybe even you didn't love the type of person that they wanted. You know, maybe it was about coming out and you were rejected there. It's acceptance. You have to accept yourself. That's literally what Judgment reverse can mean. Something already is true, but you haven't accepted it. So when you fall into that acceptance, when you walk that path and say, I know who I am, I love who I am, I know what I'm doing, and I don't care if you don't anymore. You either love me or you don't. I'm part of the divine light. I'm part of that divine path. Love is part of who I am. You're free. You don't need the acceptance of others. It's nice to have, but you don't need it. You need your own acceptance. When you accept yourself, everything balances out. So that's what you want to focus on a little bit. There might be someone in your life that needs your acceptance if you love yourself. So either you love you or love someone else a little bit more, but focus on acceptance in your life, releasing harsh judgments about yourself and others. And it's going to help you so much, so much. Could also just be accepting a decision in your life that you want to do something, or it's time to make some sort of a change. Judgment and Justice reverse can also be about needing to walk away from something. It's a lot more obvious with Judgment. It feels like you've already made that decision. You've just not done the last thing, signing on the dotted line. Justice reverse is still about sometimes fighting to make it happen, going to court, trying to get it. Judgment means it's happening. So you're either going to release a judgment from someone else, you're going to accept yourself, you're going to try to accept others. And you're also going to try to like move on. It's a rebirth card in many decks. So in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, we wouldn't have this little monkey here who's cute. We would instead have souls rising up from the grave. This month in particular is super powerful because it starts off with All Saints, All Souls Day, Day of the Dead. Like Halloween is right on the edge of it. So November still contains all of those thin veil holidays where spirit energy is coming through and the past is bleeding into the present a little bit. So this is your chance to go back and heal the past mentally at the very least. And if there's anybody that is in spirit, a parent, a sibling, someone who's wronged you, a teacher, whatever, this is also a chance to connect with them and try to release that energy, okay? All right, let's see. There's still a lot of emotional energy, so I want to help you with navigating your emotions because I'm also looking at the Cups cards in reverse and the Three of Swords. So I want to look a little bit about what can you do to be happier? Where can your joy exist? What's going to bring in that sense of satisfaction? Strength, also reversed. Okay, so I love the Strength card because it basically is indicating what I try to say as much as I can, which is you're amazing. You have what it takes. The Strength card can, when it's reversed, however, indicate that you're wasting or unnecessarily spending energy on trying to make other people feel or see something that they don't. So you can't change people's emotions. I quoted Bonnie Raitt earlier this year. I can't make you love me if you don't. I also can't make you see something from my point of view if you don't. I can simply present options. And that's one thing that is freeing even for me for what I do. All I can do is put a roadmap or a blueprint. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to do anything. I'm here to help. I'm here to be a channel. I'm here to put it in front of you. And I hope that it works for you. But I'm very much like Morpheus holding the two pills and saying, here's your choice. What do you want to do now? So for this one, I want you to focus on your strength. I'm encouraging you to do that. And when you believe that you are strong and when you focus on yourself rather than trying to open up this crocodile, or it's kind of like a morphed animal here because it's a crocodile head and like a lion's body or whatever. When I see that, sometimes you get involved in situations where there's no win, right? I don't want to be a crocodile whisperer. I don't need to get involved in those conversations. I'm going to focus more on personal development. I'm going to focus more on trying to align with people who are already in a strong energetic space as well. And yeah, focus on that. I think you're going to be okay. When we see Queen cards reversed, Divine Feminine cards reversed, it's often about misplaced creative or controlling energy. And when we look at love, we have a Divine card upright, and it's about moving forward. She's not trying to control anything or anybody. It's really just about creation and release, and that's what this is about. So release it. This person's holding on too strong to something that doesn't need to be controlled, okay? Control that which you can, release that which you can't, accept what's already been decided, and I believe that you're on a really good path if you do that. All right, 8 of Pentacles and the Recognition card, which to me carry a little bit of energy of the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles, obviously, because one of them is 8 of Pentacles. So I want to see what's going on with recognition, what's going on with personal development. What's the message here? I want to take it off the bottom. All right, so we have the King of Swords here. I love this one because this is really kind of about taking that necessary flight, moving into the future. This is the time. Like I said earlier, if not now, then when? Wow, that's a beautiful card. Okay, so you have exactly what it takes to lift yourself up and also realize the power of your words to do the same. So for any of you that somehow can do public speaking, writing, or you can share your gift through words, what a powerful month to bring that forth. Also realize that mundane things like a greeting card, an email, a text message, a phone call are going to be able to create massive shifts in energy and possibilities in the month ahead. Your voice is so important, which is why I was focused on the throat chakra earlier. So I really hope that you can use that in a positive way. We have the King card. It's upright. Nothing bad about this card. It's time for you to move it forward and use your voice, use your vision, and make something amazing happen, okay? Cool. One last time, these were powerful soul messages and a nice cohesive message too, which I like. Acceptance. Look into your life and see what needs to be accepted, see who has or who hasn't given you that acceptance, and this is going to give you the key that you need to move forward. You have a lot of energy. Make sure you're spending it on things that return the energy, and don't sort of spill your love, your strength, your attention into things that just kind of like a battery are sucking it in. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, so you're more than enough. You should love and accept yourself. Put that energy into things that matter, and really, once that happens, you're like this resplendent creature here that can move forward. I don't know if it's a chimera or what, but it just reminds me of kind of like this. It's like a bird and a butterfly all together. I love it. So I feel like that's kind of what you're in, is that transformative energy where you can do anything that you put your mind to once you allow yourself to go down that path. Okay. All right. Before we go into the next portion, if you haven't done so, I only asked this once during the reading. If you could please hit like and subscribe, it helps me a lot. Because I do an unusual approach, my channel doesn't necessarily grow as fast as other people. So your support helps. If you'd like to, you can just share it with friends later on social media. Whatever you do, thank you. All right, let's go ahead now and get into the meditation. When I was lighting my candles and saying prayers earlier, it came to me to do the butterfly meditation. And this is definitely confirmation that we need to kind of work on that. I want to kind of allow you to sort of see your dreams as butterflies flying away. And then I think we can all kind of transform into this mythic creature, whatever it is, and move forward and kind of forge our own future. Okay. So we're going to do a daytime meditation. We've done a lot at night with the stars and everything, but we're going to do one in the daytime. We're going to do it in the forest. And there's going to be a lot of butterflies. That's what's coming through to me. Okay. So get comfortably seated. Kind of do a quick scan of your body. And if there's any place that you're holding on to energy, whether it's in your neck or in your back, or maybe there's just a persistent thought that's been moving through your mind. As you take this first breath, I just want you to feel an opening happen. You could imagine that the color of the energy that you're breathing in is like sky blue. No clouds, just this beautiful, because that's going to help you with your throat as well. Just this beautiful blue energy. You're going to be breathing it in through the throat, feel the throat opening up, and then see this beautiful blue going through your body. Throat and heart are going to help carry it through the rest of your body. So we'll take a couple of deep breaths together, and then we're going to go to the forest and release our dreams and become the butterfly. So inhale when you're ready. Let it go. Imagine that you're sipping in the energy too. It's kind of like when I'm drinking my tea there. You're going to really be pulling it in and feeling that energy come into your body. We don't often breathe as much as we should. Really breathe in deeply. Let it go. Good. All right. In your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that you're walking through an enchanted forest. And this is a very special forest. You notice that everything is sentient, everything is alive. The blades of grass seem to sort of be aware of your presence there. As the trees are moving, you can almost hear musical notes going through them. And everything seems to kind of glow or twinkle incandescently. There's this beautiful like bioluminescence in the forest. Everything has a color, everything has a sound, everything is awake. So you're kind of walking into this forest, and you're going to awaken no matter what, because the energy here is very vivid, very alive. And there's colors here that don't even exist in the normal visual spectrum. There's additional richness in this journey. So imagine what it feels like to walk on this beautiful grass or moss, and feel that with each step that you're taking, you're receiving, it's almost like you're receiving a loving hug or an energetic upgrade. And you can even see the color, this beautiful sort of bluish green energy from the moss and the grass moving through your body. And as you stop to smell a flower, you see the beautiful colors of orange and red and violet move into your energetic body. Basically, you're seeing how your soul would look at the world. It's almost like we're in an altered state of reality here. So you're seeing the overarching and overlapping chakra fields that everything has, from flowers to insects to dogs to humans. And you're part of this journey. You're part of this exciting adventure. So I want you to find this beautiful field of flowers, whatever kind that you'd like. I live in California, so I'm seeing maybe like California poppies, but you could see anything that you want. It could be daisies, it could be violets, whatever it is. Lay down in this beautiful field of flowers and feel the support of the earth as you're doing that. Know in this moment in time, you have all the love, all the support that you need. And as you look up at the beautiful, brilliant sun above you, you realize that just like the flowers, you can drink in this energy, and that if there's any part of your body that's been tapped out a little bit, it's getting an energetic sort of massage from the sun above you, which is creating a perfect circle around your body. You might even feel tempted to trace it or create like a snow angel, but here in the flowers, you're kind of creating this energetic field around you of protection. And now, with feeling supported by the earth, being upgraded and energetically by the sun, and having the love of the flowers all around you, which kind of seem to be gently looking down at you occasionally, now it's time to let go of the dreams. And each and every one of these dreams is going to exit your body as a butterfly. It's going to go into the flowers. It's going to fertilize. It's going to find its space, basically. So free yourself from whatever has been holding you back. Let it go. I want you to think of the one big thing in your life that you really need release from. And then after you do that, you can move along. But as we do the singing bowl here, as I play this, I want you to imagine that each and every dream, each and every fear, each and every hope, everything that's just heavy gets lighter and takes the form of a butterfly. And it can be a really unique butterfly. The darker energies can be like different shades. You could even have a black butterfly, a dark moth or something kind of go away, whatever. It's all blessings. It's all the divine. Let all the energy sort of exit, and then you're going to become the butterfly at the end, and we'll fly away after I play the singing bowl. But you first need to release. So just let the energy escape. Bless it as it goes too, especially if it's something that you care about. Trust yourself and trust the energy that it's going to go where it needs to. Take a deep breath. Do a quick scan of your body and feel this sense now that you are lighter and brighter than you've been ever before in your life. And that you get this sense now that you could, just by a dream, just by a wish, just by a thought, start to levitate, start to fly. Imagine where it is that you want to go next in your life. Allow the thought to lift you up. Where your hands and your arms once were, see these beautiful wings stretching out farther than you could ever imagine. Look at the color of your wings. Look at the color of the feathers on your body. See yourself now fully able to carry yourself through to the next part of the journey. Keep this bird's eye perspective as you decide to move forward. If you want to see yourself as a butterfly, gigantic, enormous butterfly, or as a kite, or as any sort of winged being, a griffin, whatever, this is your time to kind of embody that energy, or a phoenix rising up from the past. All of that will hold true here. So see yourself as a beautiful winged creature. Rise above your current situation, move towards your destination. And we're going to close this meditation with the idea that you're headed there, and it's going to be smooth sailing moving forward. So just feel the sense that you are moving in the right space. The trajectory is supporting your overall journey, and that it's going to be easier now that you've let go of the past, that you've stopped holding on to things that you can't control, and that you're ready for whatever tomorrow brings. One last breath, and then gently open your eyes on the exhale. If you need to come back into your body, you can rub your hands together. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Feel that warmth, feel that heat, that energy that you've always had, and seal the intention that you're going to honor your dreams, your hopes, and create something fantastic. And welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's reading and today's meditation. Before I wrap up, let me just talk a little bit about how you can join me on social media. I want to start first and foremost and just say thank you to everybody that was kind enough to join today. That's the most important thing. Show up and do the work, right? That's what I'm trying to do every day. And just by doing that, you're making a difference. To anybody that was kind enough to do a super chat later today when it's on replay, I'll pin a comment and say thank you. If you're watching it on replay, you can still help out by using the applaud button. They both do the same thing. And I appreciate you for doing that. There's a lot of ways that you can stay in touch with me. The easiest way to kind of make sure that you got the right address for all of these is to go to my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. Also, if you're on a mobile device or just can't remember how to spell my name, you're already watching me on YouTube. You can click my little picture and it'll take you to the profile area where you can click about. All the stuff is there. To join me on social media, I have pretty much just one username across most major social media networks. So it's just my name, nothing before, nothing after. And on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I will use stories. I can actually put links on Instagram and Facebook as long as you're doing the official one, and it will take you straight to the video. So it's a great way to sort of keep in touch if you don't want to sign up for YouTube notifications. But why not? Why not sort of like and subscribe? As I said earlier, it makes a difference. Patreon is a way to give back. And you notice some people with green text here, they're actually channel members. So Patreon and channel membership help me quite a bit. If you want to do that, fine. If not, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, all those things are small ways that make a really big impact. I have a PayPal address too. It's just paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh. Again, when in doubt, go to my main profile page and click about. It's all there. The only thing that's different is Twitter. It's just first initial, last name, and Ashbaugh. And that covers everything. I just want to end with the reminder that you guys are amazing. You have some really beautiful messages here. I think someone called it out correctly. It probably is a griffin, but whatever. I saw the butterfly in here as well. There's just beautiful ability to take flight this month with your ideas, with your dreams, with your hopes. So go for it. Why not? I'm excited about what November brings for your sign. Okay. And when I'm looking at your resource cards too, you're headed in the right direction. 7 of coins to 8 of coins is a good thing. So looks like you've got some great growth and great development possible. So much love and light to you. Thank you so much for showing up. It's Monday, so I will be back later this week. I'll be back on Thursday and Friday to look at Aquarius and Pisces, and we'll be wrapping up this month. And then I might be doing something around Halloween. I'll keep you posted. It depends on my schedule, but I may do another video around that. But in the meantime, wishing you all the best. Have a great November, and keep an eye on my website for more updates, okay? Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.